Hello, everyone, to our next session. I'm happy to introduce Anderson and Mike. Please switch on your cameras and your microphones so people can see you. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, both are from the UX UI Tiger team, which started end of 2023. And I think it's a good example on how open source people can contribute and join and bring themselves into a project because they thought about that Mautic is not user-friendly enough. That's what they found out 2023. And I think a couple of people may agree with that. But a lot of things have happened since that, and Anderson and Mike will present us what they've done and what's the goal. So I'm happy to have you here. The stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dirk. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this session on, as Dirk mentioned, the project UX UI. So if we look at the agenda for this session, we'll be going through the actual Tiger team that is set up. We'll be going through the approach that we are following, concerning the UX UI. We have two separate projects we are tackling, which is the first one specifically UX, and the second one would be the UI. And I would also tackle the future plans and, of course, also how you can get involved in helping us out. So first, let's have a brief explanation on who we are. Let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Mike. I'm a marketing automation expert at Dropsolid. I've been working at Dropsolid for 10 years now, from the start, basically. And in my career, I actually went from a graphic designer to a UX designer, art director, and then switched entirely to product management, CRM lead, and today I'm the marketing automation expert.
So hi there, I'm Anderson. I work at Dropsolid with Mike as a marketing automation specialist. But in the last year, I have also been working in Mautic, mainly focusing on enhancing the user experience, the user interface. And everything done until here was much based in my experience of 4 years creating brands and developing websites, internal tools, all for companies in my country since I'm based in Brazil. I also bring some experience in data analysis because of my training in science and technology research. So that said, I'll let Mike now say a bit about Dropsolid.
All right, so let's talk about Dropsolid just briefly for those who haven't seen Dropsolid. So basically, Dropsolid is an experienced company based in Ghent in Belgium. So beautiful city, lots of history. And this is our company, or I mean our building, the building the company is at. We are on the right side, I think third floor, so somewhere around that white square there. And we have about 100 colleagues. There's developers, mainly Drupal developers, also multi-developers. We have designers, we have functional analysts, we have marketers, and they are pretty much scattered all over the world. Many are in Belgium, of course, but we have an office in Portugal, we have one in New York, we have people in Brazil, France, Ukraine. So yeah, basically we're really used to working remote, right? And if we look at Dropsolid, the main focus would be on the open digital experience platform, the Open DXP. That's what we create. And we focus mainly on 3 components. The first one would be the CMS, where we use Drupal. We've been using that for years. The CDP, where we use Me. And then, of course, the third one would be the marketing automation, where we have been using Mautic from the start. If we look closer to the UX UI Tiger team, in case you don't know what a Tiger team is, it's a small team of 3 to 6 contributors who are focused on one specific area. So they are improving the tool in that specific area, but they are also responsible for documentation, for providing feedback to other teams or contributors. And if we look at when this Tiger team was created, we should go back, yeah, about 10 months, right? So October last year. I'm used to giving a lot of trainings to clients here at the website, and I offer them support. I help them out to get the most out of Mautic. And what is very clear is that most of them, not all, are actually non-technical people. So marketers, and even many of them don't have any experience. And it's been clear that we are really struggling to work with marketers. Why? Because, in my opinion, there are a lot of technical terms used, or at least you need really extensive knowledge on how to use it to really get that interface. So I felt like there's something to do about that, and then I came across this Slack message from Anderson in the Mautic Slack, where he said that he talked to Ruth about enhancing the design, because apparently the design hadn't been changed for over 10 years, so basically from the start, and he was offering his time basically on improving that design, improving that experience in overall. And yeah, he was looking for help. So this was my chance, our chance, to help him out and to get things moving, right? And that's what we did. We started creating prototypes. We started creating a plan. But then, a few weeks later, Anderson posted that, due to other commitments, he just couldn't spend the same amount of time on the project. And basically, there was no more time to keep evolving the way we were. So I took this to Dropsolid, started talking to people, and we actually decided to not give up on this opportunity, and we decided to sponsor Anderson 2 days a week. So basically, from that point on, he was paid to work on the UX and the UI for Mautic, 2 days a week, like I said. And for me, that is the actual start of the UI UX project. So while Anderson is really the working force behind it, is doing a lot of work there. It's not just Anderson. I mean, there's other people involved. There's Rembrandt, who's really working behind the screens. There's John, who was really helpful in giving feedback, in testing out PRs. There's Ricardo, who's using his extensive UX knowledge in giving feedback and helping us out. So at this point, there's really a lot of people involved, and we've been moving forward quite fast the last months. One big goal of the Tiger team, enhancing the user experience in Mautic. So basically making sure that any user, even beginners, know their way around Mautic. And we also want to have a professional modern design so we can compete with competitors, basically.
So to introduce a bit of how we have been approaching the idea of redesigning Mautic, first you need to understand how we started this. The main idea became from a feeling that Mautic is powerful, but it doesn't look powerful. Its features weren't matching its appearance. So since today we are so used to using interfaces featuring modern styles and fancy things, Mautic just seemed to be a bit frozen in time. So before starting any changes, we needed to know what more people were thinking about the Mautic's interface and see if our feeling will match what the entire community also feel. So in October last year, we started reaching out to people so they could tell us a bit about their opinions. It was mainly through the forum where anyone could just say what they think, even if they were issues or things they just didn't like, or even proposing solutions for these problems. So among the responses, these comments, we had requests to revamp user system features, like tooltips and other informative resources. We also had some requests for more contrast, animations, different styles, but if we look at all those comments, we can see that they're not just about, oh, that's not fancy enough or just interface. They're also experience issues. So that's when we realized that it wouldn't be possible to have only one project to tackle everything. So we finally split it in two different projects to have project UI and project UX. So now Mike will introduce a bit of the UX part.
All right. So yeah, project UX. So we started with UX. Why? Well, basically because changing the UI of Mautic would be one big project, right? There would be a lot of work in it, not that much visible. So we started off with the UX because that's basically many small improvements that altogether will make a huge impact. If we look at Mautic 5 and Mautic 5.1, there were actually over 80 pull requests merged in there, and having all of those combined is really offering a totally different experience when you look at 5.1, right? So basically, to give you an example, or a few examples even, so this is the screen you used to see when you created an email, right? So you're deciding on a template email or a segment email. And I can tell you that the explanation there just wasn't clear enough for beginners, let's say, right? So right now we changed it to this, which is okay, visually appealing as well, but it's just more clear. It's explained easier and clearer. And yeah, this just helps in making the right choice. To give you another example, I actually had a client calling me. So he was doing his first big import of over 10K contacts. And he called me, he asked, Mike, what should I fill in here? Don't override value if already exists. No, yes. What should I choose? And we actually had to think about it a few minutes on yeah, what the right answer was. And while it was clear at the end, you just saw that the client lost his confidence in proceeding because it just wasn't clear enough. If you see what we change it to now, it's keep value if already exists, yes, no, which is much easier to understand and much clearer to work with, right? I have another example here. So when you create a custom field, it's used to display visible on short forms. Well, the term short forms wasn't really used anywhere else in Mautic. So you had to guess on what a short form would be, right? So we changed it again. We changed it to visible on quick add. Why? Because quick add is actually a feature in Mautic. It's actually something you will see when you want to create a new contact. You have the option to create a new one, a new contact, just the regular way, or you can press the quick add button, which would, yes, show us a short form, sure. But that's a term users are used to seeing. So that's, yeah, that's much better in use, right? Another one. So when you look at an email, there's the publish state, right? There's like no and yes. There's the published at stage, which the date in there will be the date when your email starts sending out. And then there's unpublished at, which will be the date when you stop sending out those emails. We had multiple clients, and honestly, I struggle with it as well, to understand what the goal of this was. I mean, you kind of expect when that you reach that unpublished ad date, that the published ad state would go to no. And the other way around, if it's a no and you reach that published ad state, that your published state would actually go to yes. But they are not tied, or they are not connected to each other. So it was very confusing. So at this time, this is what we've changed it to. So basically, instead of published is just showing available for use, and then we have your activate ad and unpublished ad. And we're even changing it right now to this. So this might be in one of the next versions, where it's saying available for use, start sending at and stop sending at. Just a matter of changing labels, but this is crystal clear on how to use it and what to expect. One last one, so the campaign builder, right? We are working on a new version, and that would look a bit like this. So while it also looks better and while it has a better design, it also has more contrast. It also displays more information. When you look at the actual events, you can see what the event is doing. You can see what it's doing without actually having to edit it like we are used to right now. You have to edit it to see what the event will do. Okay, yeah, you can set up a custom title, sure, but this way you at least see what is configured, right? So this one is coming up. Anderson.
So for the UI project, all comments and feedback we had made us realize that perhaps the bigger issue behind the current Mautic design was the lack of a design plan. Also combined with limited resources, we had in old versions of Bootstrap, yeah, we can think years ago, interfaces really were different. So, okay, that's natural. That's the natural path things take to evolve. But today we can do much more, and that's super exciting. So, considering that, okay, it's an open source software, and to really help the project to keep sustainable and future proof over time, we are taking a careful planning as the first step to ensure that, for example, we will have a really good design or look and feel for years, and that developers will know how to create, how to expand, how to make new components while keeping consistency. So allowing developers to build on top of this base. And achieving these benefits is possible by implementing a design system. Some of the most famous design systems are Material UI from Google and that one from Apple. And while their main focus rely initially in the mobile experience, there are several other design systems focusing on different implementations according to basically what the business does. So you might think that, okay, but why don't we create one for Mautic? Then I have to raise a really, really big concern here. Always, when we depend mostly on volunteers, yeah, of course, an open source project, resources limited, uh, creating a really big and complex design system can be challenging. Most of the developers, they just have time to perhaps create new features of or solve issues for clients, solving support tickets in a way, but not exactly sitting there to think, okay, how to create the best interface here. So everything that we can just take off our shoulders is veiled. And the idea here will be to let Mautic and our developers just develop the logic behind the automation tool while someone else cares about design. And by someone else, in this case, I mean the IBM team behind the Carbon Design System. Why Carbon? They feel like the best choice because of several reasons. The first one is that, okay, they are open source, so we can say that, for example, they feature a community and have contributions anyway, just things that ensure the project will keep alive over the years and getting updated. Because, yeah, we don't want to implement something today that, I don't know, will die 2 years later. That will be a really big effort for nothing. So that's a point of consideration. The second one will be about the documentation. Their docs are just incredible. Any developer can, let's suppose, okay, you are not feeling so sure about how to create a certain component. You can just access their docs, use your browser developer tools to inspect those components and see how they built, how these elements were built, how they are constructed, and basically anything you want or need to be able to replicate it anywhere else. So that's another really big point I'd like to mention. Because of this, it's also beginner friendly because someone with no knowledge can just reach the docs and start reading to understand how to work with things and replicate in CSS or, yeah, just basically make the whole interface happen in another project. So yeah, that's a good thing. That's basically what I'm doing in Mautic right now. So yeah, it's really fine. Uh, Perhaps the fact that I like the most is that this design system was created by industry leaders in software like Mautic. For example, they know how to show a dashboard or everything that's related with data analysis and in just a way that doesn't feel overwhelming for the user and provides a general user experience that just feels nice and helps marketers to get what they need just done instead of, for example, battling with it to make you what you want. So yeah, these points are are really what I love the most in Carbon. And finally, they are based on research. So reading docs, you can see that some components, for example, they always mention books and other resources, references that they use to create a component this way and that way. So yeah, these points makes Carbon a really good path to ensure that our community will have all necessary resources to keep the interface consistent and yeah, just uh, keep developing Mautic, focusing on features and making it tool more powerful instead of just handling the UI. Mike, it's you.
All right, thanks. So yeah, by choosing Carbon, it was actually very easy to start creating prototypes. It's just a matter of putting modules together, and we've created prototypes. And we actually had multiple pages created in a couple of days. But then, yeah, we noticed that we had to take a step back. We really had to make sure that everything was covered. So we took a step back and we started, yeah, from the drawing board again. So we started creating wireframes, and we still are. So we will be creating wireframes for every single page in Mautic, just again to make sure that everything is covered. And just to give you an idea, this is not an actual proposal, but just to give you an idea on what we are working, this could potentially be a new design for Mautic, and it does show how completely or how Mautic's look could completely change with the work we are doing. And this will not be for tomorrow, but maybe for Mautic 6, there might be an entire new design, yeah, waiting for you to use.
So once we have a new design, we'll start focusing on fixing minor bugs, adding new features related to the user experience, and just improving the general experience workflows anyway across the platform. So if you want to help us out, just join our Slack channel or send a message to me or Mike. You can also help, really help testing or reviewing pull requests on GitHub, just to ensure that these improvements will be released, like the campaign builder. So share your opinions and absolutely any tips or anything you think that might be helpful. Then yeah, let's create something great from here. So now we just want to thank you for watching our session, and we are now available for your questions. Okay.
Thank you very much. I think we already have a couple of questions. I will have a look and bring those questions to stage. First question from Adrian. How compatible is Carbon with the currently used Bootstrap framework, or will we even move away from that?
Okay, basically Bootstrap is a technical framework, while Carbon will be applied as a style. So we still need Bootstrap in terms of technically to make the interface happen, but new components and things like this will be regarding style specifically will be built in separate or just on top of Bootstrap.
Okay, thanks. I hope it's answered. Otherwise, please write in the chat. The next question comes from Rahul. Are we evaluating the feasibility of using React.js, Next.js, or similar frameworks?
It will probably be easier, faster, and better if we could just use another framework, but the problem is migrating literally everything to another framework. That will be a really complicated work, so I don't think we are perhaps going to do this for the next years. So basically right now we are just building on top of what already exists.
Okay. By the way, we still have time left, so if you want to join into this discussion, we will first answer all the questions, and then you can join as well. And if you want to get on stage, let me know, and we can get into the discussions as well. But first, let's go for the next question. So, Marvin asked the question. Will we be able to copy-paste activities in the campaign builder? If so, could we also copy-paste an activity from one campaign to another, from one environment to another, from pre-production to production? Marvin, that's your question.
Okay, that one requires a bit more of technical implementation, but that's the case of an idea that we just perhaps didn't have. So yeah, please bring more of these ideas to our channel so we can discuss and see how to make them happen.
What would be for people who don't know yet about the Tiger teams? Where should they send this idea? Is it in the forum as a feature request? Is it some other place? How do they get your attention?
They can join our Slack channel where we discuss and basically allow the community itself to evaluate each idea. So that's a really good place.
Okay, good. Thank you. So Marvin, please join there. Next question from Joseph. Joy. There is a PR about changes to the scheduling segment emails where you have a two-step procedure. Have you seen it, considering it? A pull request. So do you know about that?
Already saw it in the past, but that's probably the kind of thing that we will just have a look before implementing anything. So we are in phase of creating wireframes, not even prototypes or designs, but yeah, we will have to reach people, other developers to ask about technical impact and things like this. So yeah, that's something we will consider.
So are you involved into pull requests that may have influences on the user experience and user interface already?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So the next one. Lots of questions. That's good. From Lucas. Anderson, have you ever considered reorganizing the main navigation to the right side? In my opinion, mail, landing page, and forms are among the most frequently accessed pages. Currently, they are somewhat hidden, requiring users to uncollapse.
Yeah, we have a lot of issue regarding the sidebars where we have to tackle, but that's something that we can definitely have a look. For example, to make our access to these pages be faster, I implemented new keyboard shortcuts so you can basically just tap two keys and reach these specific main pages we tend to use more often.
Okay, and I see that Lucas' question was so long that it's two questions actually. Let's quickly have a look if this has been answered as well. Moving these sections to a more prominent and easily accessible position could greatly enhance user efficiency and overall experience. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, that's something we are considering. For example, when you collapse the entire sidebar to be basically the icons, you can't access things like components, and yeah, that's something to consider. We are looking for a solution to this.
And Lucas corrects himself as well. Sorry, the main navigation, the left side, of course.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got it. Thanks for answering. Let's have a look for the next question. When this is released, will it be applied to all Mautic instances after we upgrade to the latest version? If so, how would this impact our own Mautic UI customizations?
Yeah, it will be applied to our Mautic instances, but while redesigning the interface, we are creating, how can I say, we are planning how developers will customize the Mautic interface regarding colors and basically anything you want uh, easier than you do now. Because right now, Mautic is not exactly made for a rebranding for your own company or clients, customers. So basically, we are already trying to find a way to let developers customize easily the entire interface while keeping everything really good. Because yes, sometimes when customizing interfaces, some things get buggy. Like you try to change the color for something here, then perhaps break something there. So the plan, the way we are technically working, will make customizations just work out of the box perfectly with no bugs and no issues regarding the customization made by each company. So perhaps you'd like to watch my session later about how to customize Mautic using these new technical additions.
Yeah, do keep in mind that everything will be documented, right? So on how to use it and where to use it, and everything will be in the document.
Okay, cool. I think that's answered. We have a new question by Garandeep. I hope I can pronounce it correctly. It's really, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Do you have plans to introduce limit to sending out the emails by the campaign? I don't really understand the question. Maybe you do?
Yeah, I do not have plans. I think that perhaps that's something to submit as a feature request for the product team, since it's not exactly related to the user experience or interface. But uh, there is a way to do this right now, but it's technical when configuring cron jobs and things like this. But yeah, in the UI, we just do not have something specific for this.
Okay. So while we answered our question, I also have another one. If you feel your question has not been answered yet correctly and you want to join us, please write a comment in the chat room and I will invite you as well. My question before I see the other ones is, so you founded a Tiger team. Is it correct? So, and
Well,
what's your experience with that? So, do you recommend it for other people as well? So, because I think about there should be a Tiger team for API, maybe.
well, to be honest, the Tiger team already existed, but it wasn't very active. I think it was created like a year before that, but there were pretty much no comments in it. The Slack channel was there, but no, there was no communication at all. So while we didn't create the Tiger team, we made sure that stuff is happening and that there's people involved, right?
What's your experience? How much time do you spend for that? Is this something you can recommend other people to do as well? Other people?
That one to Anderson is really pulling that one.
It would be great if each company could, for example, let someone from the team just to review pull requests or just get in touch to give some opinions. That will really help us to move forward a lot of customizations and improvements for your interface and experience, because right now I have almost 50 pull requests open that just need someone to review, and almost more than 100 were already merged. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening. So yeah,
So
you can help this
if you
way.
want the Tiger team to succeed, help them out. Please help them watch test pull requests and make things to come alive, right?
Yeah, and since they are related to the user interface or experience, most of the pull requests are really easy to test. You don't need even to be a developer for this.
Good point. So you can start helping out in the community even if you're not a developer. You can do tests. It's really good way to get started with that. Another question regarding translations. Are there change translations flagged somehow so translators can pick up the changes?
Okay, basically every time we have a bigger change in translations, we are creating a different. It will become a bit of a more technical explanation, but we are changing the string used to express that translation. So when people bring the original files in English to the translations, basically the old ones won't exist anymore. So this way, it will require people to provide new translations for that thing we just changed it.
So you're not changing labels, you introduce new labels or new fields to be translated?
In some cases, we just change what already exists. In other cases, when the changes are bigger or more significant, we create a totally different string, a new string, and remove the old one. So for the translation app, it will count as as a new
Function.
phrase, a new string to be translated.
I think that's important for the breaking changes. If the old translation stays, for instance, and it has totally the opposite action currently, that could be an issue. But if you manage it this way, it should not happen, right?
Yeah, just have to check technically with people from the translations team. So yeah, that's a good point.
So questions still coming in, and we have time left. So let's go on with that. So I think Sergio has just added additional information. Sorry, Anderson, just to clarify, I was talking about changing more than just colors or labels. I was referring to building a fully customized interface, basically putting a layer on top of the default styling and flows. Sounds pretty specific now.
Okay, it's not that easy. For example, if you really want to do this, you have to dive deeper in the structure that the platform is built. So that requires basically another kind of development. So that's not something that easy for us to just provide for developers to have completely different experiences, or in the sense of having options for experiences. So
Right.
yeah, you probably will need a team of developers to create these changes, and yeah, just make Mautic as a base. But perhaps Mike, do you have any contribution regarding this?
Well, no, but I think wasn't Sergio saying before that they actually have a custom design already? So I think he's more referring to the impact of a new design on the changes they have made, right? So not entirely sure, but I think he was saying that. So yeah, that there could be some complications there, of course.
But I mean, then he needs to test it, right? I mean, it's never mentioned to be a theme or something. It's always a user interface, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure that the documentation is there and that you have plenty of time to make sure that you are that you can change everything, right?
All right. Then we have one more question from Lucas. Have you considered improving the mail overview list? Enhancements such as better filtering and sorting options would significantly improve usability. Additionally, displaying the most recently edited mail at the top would be a valuable feature, not?
That's something great. I think that if we just right here, I can answer you. But if you don't bring this to the community, to our channel, we can't perhaps do much about it. So remember to to send a message later about this. But we are planning to do some changes regarding overviews, both for campaigns and segments, showing statistics and things like these. So bring your ideas so we can work on that.
I also remember seeing a feature request, I think, about the structure of the overview pages. I think it was like working with folders or something. So yeah, that's also could also be a solution for this problem, let's say.
Good. I just highlight a comment from Ruth, where she also shares the link we were talking about. Is how can people help testing and how can they get started with pull requests? And there's the link: HTTPS Mautic tester, Mautic tester. Yeah. So take a note and start helping getting pull requests done. So let's see if there are any more questions. A lot of congratulations and thanks, and people seems to appreciate the work that you do. Thank you very much. It was a nice presentation also to see all the background about how the improvements of the UI and UX happened in the past. And yeah, thank you very much. I think we are done with the session. You can join now in the lobby, meet with people. Maybe you meet Mike and Anderson to continue the discussion. And then you will see the next session in this or the other rooms. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.